Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I just saw our image. Why the hell do we have Shohei Ohtani on our graphic today? Alex, what's up with that?
Alex.
Where's our Cardinals? Alex.
Maybe he's not from St. Louis.
We're not paying for today. We're not paying our marketing company for today. They just dropped the ball massively. Alex, we need to get that changed. Scotty, can they change that? That is unbelievable. Anyway, hey, it's Major League Baseball's opening day. Cardinals get back to action. We're a show based out of the St. Louis, Missouri area, so of course we're Cardinals fans. We're live 8 to 10 Monday through Friday. You know what we do. With that being said, you can catch all of our original content. Politics, news headlines, society, and of course, cancel culture. Glad you're jumping in with us today. Happy Thursday, March 30th. I don't know where you're listening today, what part of the country, what part of the world, but in the Midwest, it's sunny and almost 70. That's nice. We'll take that each and every day we possibly can. And as I always say, big show, lots of guests coming up at about 8:30. We're going to talk with Lauren Aikens. She is a Fox C6 mom. You know what? You don't have to take everything that is given to you as a mom when it comes to high schools, when it comes to public schools, because guess what? Sometimes the educators themselves don't even have an idea of everything that they're bringing into school. Case in point, you'll find out at 8:30. A anti-bully speaker was brought into Fox to speak. Principal did her due diligence, but the principal didn't know everything that was out there, which is why you have to be extra careful if you're an educator, if you're in education, and when you bring people into your school. Lauren, she fought back and she won in a sense, and that just goes to show you can be any old person, average Joes like all of us are, and you can make a difference. That's at 8:30. Up at 9 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with Jim Kennedy, fascinating rare earth minerals problems that we have and why it will affect and is affecting a lot of things that we do when it comes to the protection of this country, when it comes to weapons, and of course, when it comes to the economy. We'll get into all the other things that are going on when it comes to opening day. Of course, we're Cardinals fans around these parts. And we've also got some breaking news that started to occur today. We've got Army helicopters crashing into each other during training missions. Several people dead. I don't even know how that's even possible. A U.S. journalist, a Wall Street Journal, is arrested in Russia. Here we go again on charges of espionage. A Wall Street Journal reporter. We're going to get into that. We'll see everything that happens from that standpoint as well. But before we get to our ads, because we're going to show you our ads before we continue on with the show, we are also letting you know that there's another story that just popped up when it comes to Ron DeSantis. Get ready. There's going to be a war that starts to take place between Disney and Ron DeSantis. Oh, get your popcorn ready because he's been stripped. Disney stripped DeSantis's district oversight board of any power. So you know what that means? They're going to court. They're going to be fighting each other. And as Major League Baseball comes into its first day, which is a massive, massive day, biggest news story across the country because baseball is our pastime. A liberal city, a very liberal city. You know what they did with all the homeless camps around the ballpark? They cleaned them up for the day. They cleaned them up, and now they'll clean them up for the day, and then they'll put them back.
That's the liberal way, isn't it?
It's the liberal way.
Let's not actually do anything about homelessness. Let's just move them out of the way.
But this
kind of like you do it when you have guests over, right? And your house isn't clean, you just throw everything in a closet.
Is that what you do?
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I do that.
Lizzie, you look great today in your Cardinal gear. Tabitha, you look wonderful today. Your hair did you get up early and do your hair today?
No, I woke up like 15 minutes ago. Thank you.
All right.
Your hair always looks great.
It looks good.
I jump up and get out of bed.
Scotty, you look wonderful this morning as well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Scotty looks beautiful today.
Scotty had a hard night of drinking.
I can see the sheen
Scotty
across his forehead.
He didn't. So we try not to talk to him too much unless that voice is there.
It'll warm up.
That is cancelthisshow.com. As always, like, subscribe. Send us the stars if you so desire. You can also donate. We appreciate that as well at canceltheshow.com. Check out our original content and share that content as well. We continue to see more likes and views all the time with all the shows that we have done. All right. With that being said, we'll get started. I'm Vic Foster, Tab of the Hassle, Lizzie Sparks, Scotty Gherkin, Eric Johnson on the way. And first of all, check out our advertisers, our sponsors, our partners who are helping make this go. And if you need any products that they sell, please check them out and let them know that you heard about them on canceltheshow.com.
Have you ever heard of a use tax? Well, it's just another name for sales tax that may be paid on a purchase from Amazon or any out-of-state seller. Until recently, out-of-state sellers didn't have to collect the same tax as our local stores. But recently, the Missouri legislature voted to give our state its portion. Now Chesterfield voters must approve the law to get our city portion. Vote yes on Prop U to support our local stores and help our city pay for police, parks, and streets. Paid for by Citizens for Chesterfield's Future, Gerald Wright, Treasurer.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Mahesh Bhagway. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in St. Louis for over the last 20 years. I went to Washington University. I got my medical degree at St. Louis University. From local high school athletes, college athletes, weekend warriors, injured workers, and even Cardinal baseball players, I've treated them all. Our practice strives to personalize care with every new patient being seen by me. To find me, contact my staff at drbagwe.com. That's DRBAGWE.com. Hopefully you don't need me, but if you do, you can find me now.
White Glove Exotic Services is St. Louis's first concierge vehicle service center. Alex David's team is passionate, certified technicians. They have industry-leading tools and equipment. They do it all. They pick up and deliver your car, hands-free. Plus, they have elite detailing service, customized PPF wraps and tinting, and inspection and titling assistance. White Glove also specializes in logistics and storing options, vehicle listings, and consignment. White Glove Exotic Services. Check them out at cancelthisshow.com.
Marco, wait. What? No response? Hi, I'm Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair, offering full service and auto repair to St. Louis and St. Charles. We are looking for someone to say polo. That's right, we are hiring. We want you now. If you would like to work in a well-paying environment, then you owe it to yourself to stop by one of our 6 Complete Auto Body and Repair locations. Will you help me find that missing person? Please call me directly at 636-488-HIRE. That's right, 636-488-4473.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
As all of you may know, the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
Hey guys, welcome back into the show. I just got some breaking news. Hey, we're a live show. We do news updates when it comes to that. Scotty, I just sent you a picture, Scotty. If we can pop it up, this is kind of a big deal. Obviously, we're a Midwestern show. We're national when it comes to topics. But I don't care where you live in this country or another country. If you have severe weather coming through, you rely a lot of times on your what? Your sirens, right? You rely on sirens. Well, we were just updated. And the reason this show has done so well and continues to do well and continues to grow is because of you, the viewers and the listeners. And you guys give it to us when it comes to the stories and ideas. Well, check this out. Look to the far right. Out of service all the way down. At the top of the page, and for our listeners who can't see what we're showing, this is the National Weather Radar transmitter outages. The information for Thursday, March 30th this morning. Okay. There are several cities listed, and it lists where the transmitter is. This is to warn you in case of severe weather, tornadoes, and, whatever else can happen in the area. They're all out of service, those cities.
We need to know why.
What the hell?
And the reason why we're bringing this up is because we are expecting to have severe weather tomorrow, not just here in the St. Louis area, but it's going to spread out across the country. But right here in the St. Louis area, we're expecting to have tornadoes, hail, strong winds, etc.
Well, it's very interesting because I'm looking at that going, oh, yeah, that could be an issue. That could be a massive issue. So great question, Jeff Silber. Who pays for this? Is it tax dollars? I don't know if it's tax dollars. I don't know. Tabitha, you were just talking about the weather. We had an issue with your mic, but I think we took care of that. So
yes.
And what we've got going on with the whole situation is when severe weather hits, and we're supposed to get we had severe weather in the Midwest last week, right?
Well, we had severe weather. Most of the severe weather was much further south. We had that tornado in the Mississippi area. I mean, it traveled, 125 miles. There were over, 25, 30 people that were killed. I haven't even seen the latest numbers. Neighborhoods completely flattened. Well, that weather we are supposed to have here tomorrow. And I know my microphone was off, and this is exactly what I was trying to reiterate to people, is that tomorrow in the St. Louis region and in other parts of the country, as the storm continues to travel west, we're going to see some very extreme severe weather. And that happens, this time of year, of course. We're in that tornado season. And if we have all of these national weather radar transmitters down, how are we going to be notified? I mean, this is literally a life and death situation.
We got to find out if that's a tax situation or not. If somebody knows that those are our tax dollars. I didn't think the tax dollars paid for the national.
And why are they down?
Radar.
I mean, why are all of these transmitters down? It's so strange, and people need to pay attention because you know what, Vic? Tomorrow is going to be one of those situations. If these transmitters are still down, that means you are going to have to monitor the weather yourself. You're going to have to keep an eye on it. You cannot count.
Well, isn't everybody
a
meteorologist anyway?
We all think we are, and we're all probably more right than most of the
Rain.
meteorologists.
No, it's not going to rain. We're going to get sunshine.
But I really do think we're going to get it bad tomorrow in this area. They got it bad south of us last week. I think we're going to get it this time.
Well, we'll see where that goes.
I mean, it is a government agency, so I would think it was paid for by
if it's
taxes.
A government agency.
They're not paying for it.
I mean,
true.
This is because we're a red state. They just want to kill us all with a tornado.
Okay.
They do. They do want to just kill us all.
If anything gets back up, we'll let you know what happens with that. What other topic I know you want to talk about? We've championed it a little bit. And anytime people are tax, no, we don't want tax. Believe it or not, sometimes taxes can be a good thing.
Yes, they can.
I repeat, it can be if it's explained and if it keeps you away from future taxes.
That's correct.
Tabitha, Prop U on the ballot in Chesterfield. I'm not quite sure why people would not want this or want to vote yes on Prop U when you break down what it does for local businesses. And local businesses are the key of everything conservative and everything for small communities like Chesterfield.
I think that when people see taxes on a vote on a ballot, they're like, I'm not going to vote for more taxes. Why would I want to pay more taxes? I'm already paying taxes. But I can assure you, if you live in Chesterfield and you're voting for Prop U, you better vote yes for Prop U. Because if you don't, you are really going to hurt yourself and your community. Because right now in the city of Chesterfield, you don't pay property taxes. I mean, where that's unheard of. You do not pay property taxes. And if you want to continue to not pay property taxes, then you need some sort of tax base coming in. Because what happens, and we all know, a lot of us are online shoppers, correct? Prop U only affects you if you're shopping online. If you're buying products online, you're going to pay extra taxes as part of Prop U.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? If you don't want to pay Prop U taxes, vote yes on it because your county, your city needs those tax dollars so that you don't have to pay property tax. But if you really don't want to pay, you know what? Don't shop online. Support your local community businesses. If you go to your stores and you support your community businesses in the city of Chesterfield, you don't have to pay property
awesome.
taxes.
We've
Does
got
that make sense?
Yeah,
It's a win-win.
Yeah, but we got a liberal Democrat actually saying vote no, and I think it's just to mess with you.
It is,
and everybody knows who it is, and I'm not going to say his name.
Well, let's remind people of this: if you're in Chesterfield, you don't have property taxes. And if they don't have a way to bring money in, because people aren't shopping locally, they're not
Bingo.
shopping locally.
Yeah, there's some other radio stations in the area that are completely missing the boat.
They have to be. They have to be.
They just, vote tax, and they don't actually do the deep dive like we do on canceltheshow.com. You have to do deep dives into things. You have to have a brain.
That's
You
right.
have to look at things from an intellectual standpoint. You have to take the time to do the deep dive and not just go with the flow. And if you got somebody yelling and screaming, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
Support your community is where
it's always an uphill battle if you're trying to get a tax approved in a conservative area.
It's hard. And like you said, Vic, so well, is that people just don't understand Prop U taxes. They think I'm going to have to pay more tax. No, if you shop locally, which is what you should be doing anyway, you will not ever have to pay the Prop U tax. But you know what? If you vote no on Prop U tax, guess what's going to happen? Chesterfield is going to have tax dollars coming in some way. And that could mean, it could literally mean you're going to end up having property taxes, or you're going to end up having Metrolink.
Don't say we didn't tell you.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
Correct.
Scotty's marking the tape. We do our best to educate and inform. And then, hey, you guys take it from there. It's not a life or death issue.
No,
but,
and I hate taxes. You know how much I hate taxes.
Me too.
And if I lived in the city of Chesterfield, I would be voting yes for Prop U, because that actually keeps your taxes down, way down.
Hey, by the way, I love our listeners and our viewers on the show, canceltheshow.com. The National Weather Service annual budget, by the way, $204 billion. I repeat, the National Weather Service's annual budget, it's actually $1.204 billion. And we just showed you the site of all of the radar systems or sirens, not radar systems. Let me repeat the sirens, emergency sirens that are down in the state of Missouri.
Such a big deal. Let's call the National Weather Service now, Scotty.
I mean, this is not a joke.
Get him on the phone.
This was as of this morning. Now, maybe there was a technical glitch, right?
You would hope so.
And they're going to fix all like 40 or 50 of them. But keep in mind, this is in Arkansas. This isn't just around the state.
Maybe they took them down and they're getting them prepared for the big storm coming through tomorrow.
Yeah, but there's there was at least 5 or 6 in the state of Missouri, at least through St. Louis, Kansas City, and around the Midwest.
Yeah, it's a big outage. We don't know what's going on, but hopefully we can keep up with it tomorrow.
Apparently, they've been closed for a few weeks due to repairs and upgrades.
Are you serious?
You know what? They probably can't get people to work the jobs. They probably can't find technicians.
Is that why?
About that?
Is that why on Monday there was no tornado siren for the weekly test?
That is correct.
Because there wasn't one.
I wondered why there wasn't.
How do you know all this, Scotty?
Kevin behind me is giving me the answers.
I was like, damn, you are really sounding right.
I follow the NWS.
And with what Kevin does for a living, he wants to follow the weather. He has to follow the weather.
That's awesome.
Well, I hope people share this, because this is really, I take storms very seriously. This is very important information.
Trust me, she takes
very
storms
important
very
information.
seriously.
Just like you're very Catholic, I'm very serious when it comes to storms. And that could be because I don't have a basement.
Once again, this is cancelthisshow.com. Couple news headlines. How in the hell do 2 U.S. military helicopters hit each other in training exercises in Kentucky? Several are dead. Still waiting on updates. A press briefing on that situation is supposed to occur in about 40 minutes. We'll keep you posted on that. Just a sad story. American lives lost in the skies of Kentucky because 2 choppers hit each other. These aren't fighter helicopters. These are evacuation helicopters. There's no way in hell that should happen.
No.
What the heck is going on? And then now you have
very sad situation.
Military members losing their lives. Another interesting story. I got to wait and see what happens with this. Here we go again. Round 2. What does Vladimir Putin win in a duel with Joe Biden and staff? They now have a Wall Street Journal reporter in custody in Russia. They're accusing him of espionage. He's a reporter. He's been a reporter.
He was in a very strange area.
I know.
I'm not siding with Russia on this. It shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have kidnapped him. They shouldn't have be holding him. But it is very strange where he was and why he was there. He was in this area called Yekaterina, if I can say it right. And that's just not, I don't see why he would be there.
Okay. But once again, we don't know the stories.
We do not know the story.
And from that being said, it's like, okay.
But we are in a war. These things happen in a war. People tend to forget we're in a war.
You say that consistently and have. Brittany Griner's situation, the former WNBA player, she committed a crime. I'm sorry. I think these two situations are far different.
They are very different.
She committed a crime that everybody knew about, and there was tangible proof that she did.
Correct.
I can't remember the guy who we gave up, but we got had. Joe Biden, he got fleeced. He got made fun of. Worldwide leaders were making fun of America because we got back Brittany Griner, who committed a crime, didn't have to do the time because we gave up a very serious worldwide criminal that we had in custody. So we gave him back to Russia. We got Brittany Griner back finally.
Woohoo.
Yeah, and we never saw really any public apology for her disrespect to our flag, her disrespect for this country.
And we never will. They should have kept her.
Her or her wife. It just sad. But of course we knew because we know what Brittany Griner is about. And she showed us who she was. So we shouldn't try to make her something different than what she is or what she has shown us. But now.
He shouldn't have been there.
You don't think he should have been there?
Russia told Americans to leave a long time ago. We shouldn't have any reporters or journalists in Russia right now. We are.
Well, then why would Russia have so many journalists or reporters in America, Tabitha? Because they're all over this country.
Yes, and we've not told them to leave. That's the difference. We have not told them to leave. Russia told Americans to leave Russia quite some time ago. I mean, months ago. They said, if you're here, they evacuated the embassy in the consulate in Russia before the invasion even took place. I mean, right now, Russia is not a habitable place for Americans because whether we admit it or not, it doesn't matter what side you stand on. The fact is we are supplying Ukraine with all of these weapons, and that is a proxy war, whether you want to call it a real war or not. And it's not a safe place for us right now.
Well, we'll continue to follow that story. It is baseball's opening day for the first time. All 30 teams, first time in a while, all 30 teams have their opening day today. And, of course, Cardinal Nation, one of the best fan bases in America, if not the best.
It's the best.
I did opening days in Detroit when I worked there as a sports anchor and a news anchor. And I've done opening days here. And I'm telling you what, guys, I'm just being honest. While I give St. Louis and Cardinal Nation the edge, Detroit was pretty damn close. Lizzie, I know it's hard to believe for people who've never traveled out of this St. Louis area to believe, but I'm telling you, opening day in Detroit was massive. It was massive as well. And if we have Detroit listeners, they will tell you the same thing. But it doesn't quite get to our level in St. Louis. But opening day is great wherever you are. I mean, it really is. Baseball is such a huge, huge sport. The passion is there because it is our pastime. But in the midst of having opening day, Denver, is that a conservative or liberal city, Tabitha?
Very, very liberal.
Yeah, it's a very liberal city. Well, they're getting a bunch of backlash from other liberals in their city because the city doesn't want all the homeless camps. There are several homeless camps all over Denver and right near Coors Field. So what's going on? Oh, yeah, they came in. They picked up all the homeless camps. They erased them, cleaned up the area. They took them and housed them for opening day, but they're going to put them back right after.
Well, I mean, you got to do something with them.
Well,
for one day.
Well,
one whole day.
Homeless advocates are saying, quote, it's disgraceful.
It is.
And they're not trying to solve the problem. As you said, Tabitha, they're just trying to provide some optics that make it look like they're trying to do something.
And I'm going to say this. Yes, it's happening in Denver. It happens here in St. Louis City. I can guarantee you it's happened today for Cardinals opening day that they have swept all of the homeless folks off of the sidewalks because they sleep all over around Busch Stadium, all over around Enterprise Center.
But the homeless in St. Louis is nothing like it is in Denver. It's not.
It's different, but trust me, it's a big problem in most cities. They do it for the Super Bowl. They sweep all the homeless up just like their trash, put them in a container, in a bin until the event is over, and then they all get to come back out again.
Margie says
it's disgraceful.
Margie says kind of like a staycation. I mean, I don't want to laugh because if you're homeless, there's a lot that goes into that.
Oh, it's horrible for so many people.
I've done several stories. I mean, whether it's mental illness, whether it's veterans, whether it's drugs, there's reasons because nobody chooses to go outside and live on a street.
Well, some people do, but
unless something has happened, Tabitha, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Their opening day is next week, but they're starting to clean the city up now. And everybody's like, wait a second. Oh, now, so what's going to happen after you bring in the homeless?
They should all go to Springfield, Missouri, because they allow them to do whatever they want there.
Oh my gosh.
They do. Tab is right.
I thought this was interesting though. A 2021 report estimated that the city of Denver spent about between $41,000 and $104,000 per homeless person per year. Activists believes the city should increase housing availability, though, for those on the streets and provide more services like trash pickup to camps. Are you kidding me?
Homelessness is not profitable.
What?
That's the problem. If homelessness were profitable,
good point.
We wouldn't have any homeless people. If they could figure out a way to make money off of homeless people, we wouldn't have this problem. But that is, unfortunately, homelessness costs every state a lot of money.
Well, those are some of the headlines that we've been talking about and getting into. We've got much more to talk about today, but there's a big story that just happened. We learned about it yesterday. A woman named Lauren Aikens, she's a mom at the Fox C6 school district. We're going to bring Lauren in right now, and we appreciate Lauren jumping in to join us today. Laura, we say good morning to you. Hi, welcome to Cancel This. First of all, let's tell everybody what happened, because all I did in teasing the story was tell people, hey, you have a high school student that went to a anti-bullying speech, and then what came out of that, you're like, not on my watch. Something needs to be done, and you did something about it.
Yes, actually, it's middle school, which is even more concerning.
Wow.
So 12, 13, 14-year-olds. And I made a post. There was an assembly that happened at my son's school under the guise of anti-bullying. And this group was Vital Dance Crew, and they were not vetted fully by the school board or by any of the administrators. So I made a post on Facebook just seeking clarification, hoping I was desperately wrong about what I had seen. And my son came home and showed me some absolutely disturbing photos. And one of the dancers that was involved in the group was just basically butt naked. Sorry, but he is naked and very lewdly, provocatively shown. So my concern was, how did this happen? There's of course rumors, because you know how that goes. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't naked at the show, but he was sharing his personal Instagram or personal social medias. I've gotten reports from several children that said he was sharing his personal and private social media accounts that led to extremely explicit photos. Some were him getting out of the shower. Some are him showing all the way down to almost his very, very personal business, just to say the least. And I'm doing my best to, for whatever reason that I was chosen to be in this position, I'm doing my very best to speak for the body of parents that are concerned. This isn't an attack or a vendetta. I'm concerned. This is something that has come into the school. And after I spoke to the principal, which honestly, of course, she's in between a rock and a hard place now. So, I'm humbled for her, but it is a situation where they weren't vetted. The name of the school is Fox C6 School District. The school that my son saw the assembly at is Fox Middle School. And she said that they weren't vetted other than through this individual website, which is the promotional website for getting them into assemblies. And she said that she did Google them on her work computer, which has, the software, protected software to keep kids from looking up pornographic stuff, explicit things, whatever. And so, but if you start to search the Vital Dance Crew, you'll find articles from other parents from other states and cities that were extremely upset about what their child had been exposed to. So I'm doing my best to just voice it. Yes. Jeez.
That's completely unacceptable.
This was for middle schoolers, the picture that we're showing, right?
Yes. So, and this this guy went there under Vital Dance Crew is who they were hired under. That is the name of their dance crew. But the issue being is that when he came into the school, and I feel like the school was potentially duped too. So the point is let's not let more schools have this happen.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, Dr. Jackson at Fox Middle would never want another administrator to be dealing with what she's going through, what they're going through as a school. And as the village that's supposed to stick together, we've got to work together to fix this. So the students were given the personal social media handles, things like that. Check me out on, whatever, Instagram, Facebook, all of this. And I want to be very clear. I don't care how this grown man identifies. I don't care what his personal private business is, but it's personal private business. It's not for 12, 13, and 14-year-olds. So
he shouldn't be giving out his private social media accounts. That I don't know. I guess I don't fully understand the situation, who he works for, what this group is, where they came from.
They're independent. They're a private company.
What needs to happen is somebody needs to if you haven't already, contact the Attorney General, because this is something the Attorney General needs to be on, because they need to send out some sort of warning to all of the schools all across the state that if this group approaches you, if they want to be part of assembly at your school, this is not allowed. It's not acceptable. It's pornographic. It's a form of grooming, quite honestly. If he's giving out his information to his personal social media accounts and there's near naked or naked photos of him on there, that's 100% unacceptable.
And that's my stance on it, Tabitha. Like, the concern is, with the climate of the world today, and our children are, exposed to so much stuff. I have had so many parents stand there and say that, they don't allow their kids to, be on social media. They don't allow their kids to watch these things. We can't control fully what our children see. We've all been teenagers, lied about going somewhere. I get it. But when you become a parent, we have to take a next level step to protect our children from the things of this world. This is not an okay thing. We have kids going through a lot of their own issues. And quite frankly, I feel like I said, the school was duped. Other schools have been duped. And if he came there under Vital Dance Crew and he only promoted Vital Dance Crew and it was just, fully clothed, events, maybe that would be just fine.
Well, Lauren, what are you doing?
This was for it was billed as an anti-bully speech, which I would have to say
makes no sense.
But without, when you see the pictures,
look at the picture.
But this is phishing. What the point?
But what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with anti-bully speakers. I want to make sure.
Of course not.
But when you promote yourself as anti-bullying, and then it actually gets into grooming and
it's called phishing.
And bingo.
What this guy is doing, he's giving out his personal Instagram information, his personal information to these children, seeing how many will he lure in, how many will contact him. It's called phishing. He's throwing the line out, seeing how many he can get, and that is how children become groomed.
And I concerned with, I had other people send me, photos and things like that. There's a screenshot of on the original post of a young girl who I guess they went to their school in February. And her caption is, "You should have seen the look on my principal's face when you ripped your shirt off. Oh, my soul left my body." Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, but what grown man does any of this in front of a child? And I have asked several grown men. I've asked my husband, what would you do if a 14-year-old messaged you on your private message? He's like, "Oh, delete that. I don't want that on my phone."
Exactly.
And any responsible adult would do the same, vice versa, grown man, woman, whatever. But there's a lot to this that I'm not just going to blame one person at the school. I'm not going to blame one parent. I'm not blaming. I'm asking as a community, what can we do as school administration? What policies are we going to enact? What are we going to set up for the future? I don't want, speakers not allowed at the school. I want them to go through a proper vetting process.
I'm not a school administrator, but me, having never been a teacher, never worked in a school, I would look at this dance crew and I would first of all think, what in the world does this have to do with bullying? And who am I exactly trying to reach in the student body with these people? None of it makes sense to me. To me, it's just, am I missing the point? It just seems like a complete failure on the school's part.
And Tabitha, I agree with Tabitha here. Lauren, you're doing a great job not blaming the principal, but
I blame the principal.
I'm with Tabitha on that. I am a former school administrator, and it always trickles uphill.
Yes.
When you look at this person at all, and I have researched it after talking to you, Lauren, and all you have to do is barely look at him 20 seconds, and you see that he's a grooming possible pedophile himself. So someone does have to take the fall for this. Not saying they should get fired, but who did this? I mean, you need to find out who did not vet them.
And what does a dance crew have to do with anti-bullying?
Well, one thing from talking to Lauren is the principal did try to vet him. Can you explain that situation, Lauren? What happened when you vet somebody on school computers?
Yes. So she had said that she, Googled them, Googled Vital Dance Crew on the school computer, at which point we all know that if not all schools, most schools have an IT department that has a software in place that, eliminates, it's essentially like a Google safe search. So they're not pulling up any, disgusting material.
Well, then she should have gone home and researched it.
But you do a lot at school though too, Tab. I know. I don't like what I saw, but I can understand a principal.
I'm not a principal. I would have done more research, and I'm not even affiliated with the school.
But the word is to get the word out.
Yes, I'm so angry by the whole thing.
No, and I'm honestly, I'm oddly, while I am disturbed and I'm upset, I am at that peace beyond all understanding phase, because this isn't my battle. God's not okay with this, and this exposure to his kids. I'm not here to, reprimand anybody for any type of sin. Trust me. They've been singing a song about a wretch like me for hundreds of years.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, full disclosure there. But my concern is just the, again, this like over sexualization of children, this, exposure to this. It's not okay. Now, I will give the principal, kudos and credit, because as soon as she saw what was coming out about this group, she was the one that reached out to the superintendent, said, we need to put a stop to this. This can't go to the other two schools. So, it's not like, so it's not like once she saw it, she was like, meh, it's fine. But it was definitely, and it was, like I said, I felt like they were duped as well because of this one website that shows it's anti-bullying. The dancing and the music was, an attempt to get children involved. And which, do I have a personal standing with a couple of the lyrics from some of the songs? Yes, I do. But it's a song from the 80s, so I'll let him do him. But, there's a disgusting indoctrination of our children, nationwide and worldwide right now. And what happened to just letting kids be kids? I am all for mental health support. I am all for talking through things, but I am not, and nor do I shove my adult beliefs or standings down even my own child's throat. So it's just, honestly, the disgust was the fact that, this person was allowed to go there under Vital Dance Crew and then explain to other people and take photos with children and, explain, oh yeah, check me out on Instagram, check me out on Facebook, check me out on Twitter, which they're all disgusting for children. You're an adult. Do you for an adult like what you like? But for children, this doesn't need to be something that they learn about at school. I think that we have a certain expectation.
Middle school.
How many? How many people that can speak at a school on bullying that have nothing to do with the dance crew? People who've experienced it, kids who have grown up and can talk about that. There are so many influential people who can come to a school and talk about bullying. And it doesn't have to be this woke dance group. It's like, what in the world is wrong with schools these days? You know what it is? They're still doing, I call it the 2% rule. They're catering to the far, far, far left on the 2%. And every time they do it, they're going to lose. It's never going to work out well. And that's what I blame on the principal.
Yeah, I will definitely say that this has been, I think, an eye-opening experience. And thank you, first of all, for the exposure of it. No pun intended. But thank you for the exposure of this, just because there's a lot of issues with this current school board and administration. I have only had, thank you, Jesus, I have only had a couple parents come at me personally, but I'm okay with it.
Whoa, time out. That you buried the lead. Why would parents be coming at you? What are they saying?
They are saying that I am just upset about his, personal choices, and I don't
Say
I
yes,
don't like
that's
when
okay to
people
be.
identify
Okay.
There's
different
parents
things.
that like that.
There's parents that this one particular parent apparently she supports that the school should not have, or should have vetted them more scrutiny, but she is convinced that I have a personal vendetta because, yes, ironically enough, my son was labeled a bully because he was in a Snapchat group about another child who I have 3 videos of in physical altercations. And so this group was more or less protecting 2 females that had allegations. And so it was a mess. And my son ended up with 13 days out of school suspension for being a part of the group and sharing a password. So was I totally disappointed in my son for sharing a password or for being a part of a group rather than coming to me? 100%. We had multiple conversations. And that's exactly why he brought this to me. He was like, Mom, this isn't right. So, this is what happened at school. He told me about it. He told me that the guy was sharing his personal,
But look at those pictures. We'll show those pictures again. I'm glad that it was only a few. Tabitha often says it's the loud minority of people that may accept this for middle schoolers as we show pictures of this guy's Instagram account or whatever it is.
Exactly. And it's not about being against a gay man. It's about the fact that
this has nothing to do with
it's being promoted to children. It's about a guy giving out his private personal information. Again, that's phishing. They're looking for who will bite so they can groom them into something more. And I'm not accusing the guy of being a pedophile, but this is exactly very symptomatic of those situations.
Right. And it's a very dangerous situation. As parents, yes, we can't be everywhere all the time. We don't know about this all the time. But at the same time, this is something that we need to step up as parents. We need to, yes, my child has privacy in the shower and in his bedroom while changing. I pay for that cell phone. I provide that cell phone. So no, you don't just get complete anonymity in your cell phone and your text messages and and if you need to hide it from me, then we need to have a character talk.
Yeah.
So I am that parent. And there's a lot of parents at Fox that are like this. There's, if you see the original post, there's like 230 something comments of very concerned parents. There's several other parents that posted about it and have hundreds of parents from other districts even that are concerned because this guy's traveling to other schools under this anti-bullying guy.
Oh, that's why the Attorney General needs to step in.
Lauren, we appreciate you joining us today. I think you brought up something too before you go. You brought up school board issues. I mean, it's impossible to break down every single school's situation when it comes to the school board, but there's votes coming up April 4th. There'll be people on the ballot,
some good people,
which is why we say, do your research, do your research for your own particular school district. We could talk about it here, but we'd have to do 8-hour shows for 2 months straight to get every school district in so that every school district felt represented.
Yes.
With that being said, you bring it up. If you care about your kids, you're going to study who the people are on your particular school district school board, because you already said there's been some issues. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's more of a conservative Jefferson County, St. Louis County, wherever, or any other county across the country. So you brought it up. Hey, you know what? You made a call. That's all you did. And then you made some progress. So I pray, and we pray that you don't get any backlash from any other parents, even if they're the loud minority, and anything else that you're dealing with.
Send them our way.
Anything else you want to leave us with this morning before we let you go?
I do want to say that just anywhere, because I know that this is seen, nationwide, worldwide, anybody that's watching, this is a call to action for parents to step up, to stand up, to reach out and, be proactive, be active in our kids' lives. I get that we all work. I get that we all have so much going on. And that's exactly what the world wants from us, to be too busy to parent our children so that they can try and raise them how they want them.
That's right.
And so I appreciate the opportunity here. And I appreciate what everyone is doing to spread the news. I do champion everyone to reach out to the Fox C6 school district and voice their own opinions on this. The Attorney General was reached out to, actually, and there was a sunshine law request from Fox School District regarding this. So meaning that it's been requested that they show and provide all emails, communication, deleted, sent, anything like that regarding this.
Wow, that's great. Love that, Lauren.
Good job, Lauren.
Lauren, you're a rock star.
Yeah, you are. You're super intelligent.
A rock star.
Super
Lauren.
intelligent, very well spoken. Very.
I didn't send it. I want to give them credit. I didn't send it. I was like, go Brandon. Okay. But there are several parents that are on this, and I just want that old school. I was born in 88, y'all. I just want that old school community, because you couldn't mess up in front of anybody's mama without getting in trouble, know. And I want that back. I want that back. But for all of our children, and for all the children to come, I have a 14-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. So I just pray that there's a difference before she is of school age, period.
If there's more parents like you, it will make a difference. Good job, Lauren. Way to go.
Thank you so much, Lizzie, and thank you for having me on. I appreciate you for asking.
You got it. Way to rock and roll. We'll talk to you later, Lauren Aikens. We appreciate it. If anything else comes, please let us know if there's anything that comes out of the sunshine request, because so many times, as I learned being in news, we think we have this story, and then the sunshine request gets filed, and then you get all the transcripts, and then we find out, what the district really did know about this. So please keep us posted on the updates, because I know you'll be all over it.
I sure will, and I really will. I appreciate you so much.
All right. Bye, Lauren. Have a great day.
Bye, Lauren.
You too.
How unbelievable, isn't it? But can we reverse this a little bit?
Of course.
Let's just say the dance crew, it was not a gay man. It was a straight man.
Scott, can you show the picture one more time if you have it while you're
let's take gay out of the equation. Let's say it was a straight man. And this straight man was giving little girls his personal Instagram account, or giving little girls his personal social media accounts, or his private information. It's still grooming. It's just not acceptable across the board that an adult is giving children their private personal information. It's not okay.
Eric, where are you on everything, buddy?
Oh wow!
I just see you making faces. You're like, oh man.
No, it's just it's everything's bundled in this weird world we're living in right now. It's like this was we're talking about these high schools, and everything is just so jacked up.
And this was a middle school, Eric.
It's unbelievable.
A middle school.
There's a go no go thing that we should be getting back to. Everything AI, situations like this in high schools. Why do we have to police this stuff? We send our kids to schools to police it for us. That's why we give you our kids in the morning.
You can't trust the schools anymore.
You can't.
Parents, we hand our most prized possession over to you at 8:30 in the morning, and we demand them back at 3:30. We look at you as a partner, or we used to look at you as a partner.
Can't anymore.
You can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. It's kind of like, I'm going to send my kid to a pit bull school, and hopefully you don't get your face chewed off. No, you would never do that. You would never send your kid to something super dangerous, and hopefully they come back that next day. You send them somewhere because you hope the state, in the old days, was doing the right thing in educating your kid.
Exactly. If it could happen at Fox, it's happening everywhere.
If it can happen at Fox.
Think about it. It's Fox.
I can't believe that.
A very freedom-loving, great area to live.
But
freedom fighters.
But guys,
it happened there.
We talk about what happened at Fox C6. We've been talking about things being in schools. Check out this video that happened earlier this week. This is a drag show at a high school. And look at this girl gets a lap dance. Just this blew my mind.
I don't even know if I can watch
it.
I've seen.
Here it is.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, that's out of school.
High school.
What school is that? Because I'll call them that.
Yeah, how about that?
If that were a straight man, he'd be in jail right now.
You know what we need right now?
Tabitha.
You know what we need?
Absolutely.
What a great point, Tabitha.
You're right.
Well, she is right. You know what we need right now? We can't do this anymore. We need psychiatrists, not psychologists, We need psychiatrists to get involved and say, if you do this to a developing mind in high school, here's your consequences 20 years from now.
And there are some.
I mean, I'm
where
talking.
Where are they heard? They don't have a
letting
platform.
them in.
I'm talking clinical psychiatry. Look, I remember when I was in high school, you're impressionable. That's the word. Impressionable.
Very much so.
Okay. You see, when I was in school, I remember a rock band coming in and playing Night Ranger songs, and they were doing an assembly. That I still remember to this day.
Are you a bassist because of that?
How I still remember to this day how that inspired me to get up and play guitar. I remember it. I was that assembly of the kids screaming and having fun. That might be why I'm actually a musician today. It was at Parkway Central High School. It was back when I was in 8th grade, and I was like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. When I saw that video right there, that could be the thing that triggered that girl to not be a lesbian, to not be in that community, but immediately that could have been the thing that sucked her in to a different direction in life.
And that's why they're grooming the kids at an assembly.
And that's why
Bingo.
I'm saying we don't need psychologists. We don't need counselors anymore. We need psychiatrists.
Well, we need parents to step up.
But it's parents.
Parents
That's
have
always
to do
been
the
my
stepping
deal.
up.
Everything's
the parents need to step up to stop it.
Yes.
Just to stop
Just
it.
like Lauren
it's
did.
like AI. It's just like AI.
But Eric,
you stop AI because you don't know how much damage it's doing.
Robert has a great quote, not to throw the baby with the bathwater out, but he says in the comment line, every psychologist I know needs one.
You
now,
know
this
that-
is him saying.
Psychiatrist.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. A
psychiatrists are
lot
given
of
the
people
medicine.
who go into
Correct.
psychology have a
Well,
mental
so here's
problem.
the deal. I'm a 1 billion% believer in this. The human brain is nothing more than an interface between reality and what's going on. It's a computer. What you put into the damn computer is what's going to come out of the computer. That's all there is to it.
Well, why are we allowing grown men to dance on children? Because like I just said, if this was a straight man and this was like
We're
a
not.
Chippendale show, that's the school principal and the people at the school would be going to jail because that would be illegal. You cannot do that to minors. But it's okay because it's a drag show. It just doesn't make any sense to me. When are we ever going to get a grip? And
it might be
it's
too late.
about political
It's too late.
correctness.
I'm telling you right now, guys, it's too late. I don't care how many parents rise up now. They had a conference with the senators the other day, and one of the generals they were trying to press the generals. Why are you having transgender dances on bases? And and what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he was like saying, well, you don't really support it, but yeah, it does happen. It should not happen. There are certain places that you don't have transgender dances. You shouldn't have. I don't think you should.
That high school, by the way, is Forsyth Tech. It's in North Carolina.
Is that what is it?
Forsyth Tech.
Oh, so that's not Fox. Here.
No, the original
no.
story was
Lauren with the pictures of who they brought in was Fox.
Okay.
The drag dancing queen on the high school student touching behind and face was from Forsyth Tech in North Carolina.
And the point being, where does it stop? Like if this is what we're allowing, where does it stop? Like I kind of agree with Eric, but I keep my hope in the Lord that, like it's not done if we all stand up, you know what I mean? So, but it's just, it is an absolute mess. And to see where I remember whenever the old heads in my time were like, oh, if we allow this, it's going to be the people marrying animals. But now we've got people that, are trying to go for, minor attracted persons or whatever. And it's just, I'm like, okay, well, maybe grandpa, maybe he was right. A little right. He was a little.
Grandpa was right.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
There's no such thing. That's called a pedophile. That's not a
it's called desensitizing.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's this brush of desensitizing. It's like, oh, well, I guess this wasn't so bad. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like, and I will say this, back in the 90s, Ellen DeGeneres shocked the nation by coming out and being a lesbian on TV. Remember that?
Yes.
And everybody's like, oh, well, I guess that wasn't so bad. Okay, Ellen, we like Ellen, and she's a lesbian. She got kicked off her show. But later, over years, we got desensitized to it, and we were very accepting to it. This is different. This is
very different. Yes. And I'm in a mixed marriage. So, just 50, 60 years ago, my marriage was not approved of either. So I'm for change, and I'm for love. I'm for acceptance, but I'm not for abuse. And this, when you're shaking your physical body parts if somebody was getting naked in front of their own child all the time and it was said in front of the wrong person, it would be considered abuse. Like, we can't allow this and then just be like, well, we have to cater to, or we have to
political correctness, Lauren.
Yeah. And I really struggle with that. I'm not gonna lie.
What's the lesson learned here? Then let's figure out what the lesson learned is. The lesson learned is so Ellen DeGeneres anecdote is she's an adult. Here's the lesson learned. We protect kids. We protect kids.
It's all about protecting.
We've been talking about this on Cancel This for a while.
Exactly. Exactly. If you want to be a transgender drag queen and perform at the at the stadium in front of 500,000 people, fine, knock yourself out. There's definitely a time and a place for that. There's also times and places that you don't bring in crack cocaine. There's also places where you don't bring alcohol. There's also places that you don't bring in trans shows, and that's where you're programming kids' minds. They
can't have adults dancing on kids, is what it comes down to. It doesn't matter whether they're drag queens, straight men, straight women. You don't bring
that was very involuntary, wasn't it?
You don't bring adults into a school to dance on kids.
There's places in the country that won't allow Will to do a lap dance on people in the PRL show because it's not tolerated. It's like socially not tolerated.
You mean different states?
Different venues that we play. We have to do a PG-13 show. Seriously.
And think about that. That's with adults.
That's what
I was saying.
Drunk
and
adults.
Saying, this is kids we're dealing with now.
Children.
Exactly.
Right. This is what we're doing to our children. But you know what? People have options. It's hard. I know it's hard for people who work and have kids in public school, but we have to start getting community school. I'm not talking about charter schools. Charter schools are just as woke as any, as Scott Fond reminded us.
It's the same as this. Imagine this. You're in a liberal city. Watch this. You're in a liberal city and there's a conservative school there that basically promotes Trump MAGA hats and flags, and you're in this liberal school. The liberals would lose their damn mind.
Hell yeah, they
sure would.
Think about that for a second. They would lose their mind.
Lauren, we appreciate you jumping in with us today. This is Cancel This Show, cancelthisshow.com. We've got Scotty Gherkin here, engineer, producer on the boards, Lizzie Sparks running all the social media, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, I'm Vic Faust. Big show. That's an hour already down on opening day all across the country. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Jim Kennedy. Just wait till you get an education here. It blew my mind with what's happening with China's monopoly on rare earth metals. Why should you care when you hear that? You're like, oh, okay, rare earth metals. Just wait to hear some of the shocking things that have happened, what's going on, how it affects you and your future, and also what America is trying to do as we move forward. This is cancelthisshow.com. We've got another hour of this live podcast. Again, special thanks to Lauren Aikens, the Foxy 6 mom, who was doing everything she could to protect her kid and other children in school. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. Got a quick little break. Check out our partners, our advertisers. If you need any of the products that they're selling, please check them out. They're great people. Let them know you heard about them from cancelthisshow.com. You can also make a donation on our website to the free speech that we have here. And on top of it all, if you know advertisers, people that would like to get involved with us, just let us know as well. Back with more cancelthisshow.com right after this.
You may know the home of the Cancel This studio is located at the all-inclusive private jet hangar, Strategic Air Services. Founded in Chesterfield, Missouri, they take pride in offering a meticulous approach to private aviation through services that fully manage your trip from takeoff to landing. Strategic Air Services is more than just storage for your aircraft. They offer state-of-the-art amenities to its members and guests. When you are not traveling, you have the luxury of enjoying their world-class gym, conference rooms, lounges, and so much more. Strategic Air Services offers an unparalleled luxury experience for all things private aviation. If you're looking for a new place to call home for your aircraft, give them a call today at 636-400-7601. Again, that's 636-400-7601, or visit their website at strategicairservices.net.
If you are having a bad day at work, I can help. Hi, this is Curtis Sparks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. We just expanded to Cottleville and St. Peters and are looking for qualified automotive and auto body technicians that would want to work in a climate-controlled environment. That's right, we offer a fully climate-controlled, air-conditioned and heated facility in both Cottleville and St. Peters. Visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Kathy O. Big Strick, owner of Experience Real Estate Partners with eXp, has been one of St. Louis, Missouri's highest selling groups for 26 years running. In that time, Kathy and her team have successfully assisted an incredible 4,000 families. So if you're thinking about buying, building, or selling, be sure to put Kathy's group and their experience to work for you, and you can expect to be moved. Just give her a call at 314-276-SOLD. That's 314-276-7653, or find her online at experience-re.com.
So are you ready to be the grill master this summer? Well, look no further than Pixie Dust Seasoning. Our custom seasoning blends will take your barbecue to the next level. With 9 different blends to choose from, you will have the perfect flavors for any meat or veggie. And the best part is, our seasonings are low sodium and healthy, so you can indulge guilt-free. Whether you're hosting a big party or just cooking a late-night dinner, Pixie Dust Seasoning is the secret ingredient that you would thank us for. So head on over to our site at www.pixiedustseasoning.com to see our store locator, and I'm sure we'll have a store near you.
And when you visit the site, be sure to use the code name VIC so they know you came from CancelThisShow.com. Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, if you don't know, is a family-owned business that has been around since 1994, serving some of the best chicken wings in town, no joke. Also known for their fresh burgers, pizza, and incredible smoked meat. Top-notch happy hour specials are included, plus live music every Friday and Saturday. Oh yeah, you can also enjoy their spacious heated covered patio. It's Winty's in the Chesterfield Valley, 18,000 Chesterfield Airport Road. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's CancelThisShow.com. Happy Thursday, March 30th. Opening day for Major League Baseball across the country. Of course, we're a St. Louis-based show, but we do a national show when it comes to our topics, our headline, our content. You'll see Lizzie and myself wearing red because we are St. Louis Cardinal baseball fans. Hopefully you have a great opening day across the country wherever you're joining us from today as well. Remember, you can always catch out all of our original content at CancelThisShow.com. Please like our stuff. Subscribe to all of our platforms. Share. It helps us as well. And when you share, it doesn't just have to be today's show. Share previous shows. A lot of that content is evergreen. It applies to our everyday lives right now. Scotty Gherkin here, Lizzie Sparks. By the way, Tabitha Hassel had to leave for the day. She's got some personal things. So Tabitha's gone. Eric Johnson is here as well. And of course, as we talk about original content, we also talk about our next guest. Because when I was introduced to Jim Kennedy, I was like, yeah, I've heard of rare earth minerals. I've heard of some things. I've heard the term lithium. Lithium-ion batteries are important, things like that. But I had no idea what was going on, where America sits, how China is dominating in yet another area. So we decided to get Jim Kennedy on. So we welcome Jim Kennedy into the show today. Jim, if you could, first of all, tell everybody about your consulting company, what you do, and of course, why we need to know about what's going on with these rare earth minerals.
I work on a couple of industrial projects here in Missouri. One of them is reopening an iron ore mine that turned out to have one of the most important rare earth deposits in the world. In the process of developing it and assessing it, we realized how important the resource was. I think I told you the story the other day. We were working with engineers, and we were looking to reopen the iron ore mine. And I found some box talked about these resources that nobody had developed. And the engineers weren't interested in that at all. They were interested in the big picture. So I spent about 90 days working on them, and it took me about 90 days to figure out that these critical materials were in all of our weapon systems, all the advanced technology in the world, and that the United States value chain ceased to exist. We literally didn't have the most rudimentary portion of the value chain. So I thought this was a little shocking. So I sent a letter off to If you remember Russ Carnahan, Congressman Carnahan, and Senator Kit Bond, and they put me in touch with the Pentagon, and I had a few meetings with the Pentagon, and realized that the problem was a lot bigger than I had thought. The problem wasn't exclusively a Chinese problem. The problem was largely an American problem, and I spent the past 15 years trying to solve this problem. So, that is a large part of what I do. I consult on it globally. I actually consult on rare earth mining projects all over the world. I've worked for a number of governments on the topic. I've been a speaker at the United Nations on the topic. It's almost a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. So China, we all talk about China getting into Africa, and we get to talk about China. They're doing it right. What are some of the elements that we really need now, and we need
great question.
We need to shift gears immediately. What are some of those elements that we have to get under our belt immediately?
So, look, I mean, what do you want to do? Some people have this green, net zero dream, which is never going to happen based on the fact that China controls literally every single element required to manufacture these things. If you're worried about the United States defending itself, again, China controls all of those same materials. If you're talking about really basic things in life, you'll find out that China controls pretty much all of those. I just threw together a tiny little list of things that China has radically disproportionate control over. Let me just go through it for you.
Damn, I'm already getting like, holy moly.
Oh, this is so bad. By the way, we have something inside the Pentagon called the industrial base, the National Industrial Base Policy Group. And they're supposed to make sure that at no point is America's national industrial base at risk, because that same industrial base feeds the Pentagon. So this has been going on so long. Let me just go through this list for you. Manganese, they control 93%. That's used for super alloys and wear metal. Mercury, used in lots of things, 89%. Vanadium, super important alloy for super metals, 60%. Tantalum, one of the most important metals for electronics and advanced electronics, 90%. Tungsten, it's what we use for our bullets, right? 83%. Lithium for batteries, about 60%. Cobalt for our batteries, for super alloys, for everything else that we use in technology, almost 70%. Graphite, way into the 90s. Spherical graphite for electric vehicle batteries, 100%. Aluminum, 55%. Antimony, which is used for lots of things in the chemical process area, 84%. Arsenic, again, 61%. Bismuth, 70%. Gallium, 96%. Germanium, 72%. Indium, 57%. So what exactly are they doing in the Pentagon's military industrial base group? Is it nap time? I mean, this didn't happen overnight. This happened over decades.
Well, you asked rhetorically, what's the answer?
It sounds intentional.
You know what? You hit the wall so many times. You're like, this can't be an accident. Incompetence can't occur that many times in a row. A blind kid in a batting box would do better than these guys. It is insane. Yeah, well, there's a lot of arguments that it is intentional. But you're supposed to be generous and say, well, maybe they're just stupid. So what would you rather be? I don't know. So anyway, this problem is extreme. I've been working on it for 15 years. I went to the Pentagon 15 years ago and laid out exactly what was going on in rare earth materials. The Pentagon, wrapping themselves in ignorance and the American flag, were uninterested in assessing the raw data I provided, the geochemical data I provided, the technical data I provided. Instead, they listened to some silk suits from Wall Street, and they committed all of the United States national security to a con corporation out of California that had also had an office in Colorado. And they threw everything into this company called Molycorp, which turned out to be a massive fraud and a massive bankruptcy. It took 10 years, 12 years for this entire thing to roll out. After the dust settled and the ashes cooled, I went back to the Pentagon. Actually, I'd been to the Pentagon probably 12 times. But after the wreckage and the carnage and they shifted through all the bodies, I thought, well, maybe they'll get it this time. Lo and behold, a new group of scoundrels came in, bought the exact same deposit, sold the exact same project to the Pentagon again. And so, look, you asked me, what do you do? I don't know. Logic, facts, reason. They don't seem to get much play.
We're talking with James Kennedy. He's an internationally recognized expert on the economic, national security, and geopolitical ramifications of China's rare earth monopoly, as you just heard, regarding products. So what you just said, are you saying that China can essentially control all of our military power, our military supplies moving forward?
Yeah. They can also shut down practically every high value production line in the United States.
Yep.
Dear God.
Korea, Japan,
This
Europe.
is nowhere in the national media anywhere, Jim.
They're doing it with pharmaceuticals as well.
Oh, absolutely.
There's shortages in the pharmaceutical industry right now that are really putting a strain on people. So it's not. This is across the board. And like you said, if it was incompetence can be fixed. But if it's intentional with malicious outcome,
sounds malicious,
then you can't fix it. It's not fixable.
Jim, I have a question, and this might sound very simplistic, but a lot of people in our government right now is pushing, get rid of TikTok. My thought is, if China is already covering everything and can take over our economics and shut everything down, what is our government doing just focusing on TikTok only?
Lizzie, don't you understand the geopolitical risk and ramifications of China getting a hold of our best cat videos? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, right. And our dancing children. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it. Distractions. Everything's a distraction.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Well, here's the thing. You have this land mass. It's not in the Pacific. It's in the Atlantic. It's China knows, and correct me where I'm wrong here. China knows that it cannot take over the landmass of the United States with 2 diesel-powered aircraft carriers and maybe enough army to take over Portland, Oregon, or whatever. So they're doing. Do you see that that China is doing this through the back door, and they're just doing everything very efficiently right now, like going and giving massive loans to South and North Africa, like coming into our hemisphere and buying up port space. Are you able to see what the mosaic is that they're putting together? Can you step back and go, oh, now I'm starting to see what's going on here?
So, Eric, you're exactly right. The United States has been obsessed with projected power, right? That's walking around with a baseball bat and roughing up little people that can't defend themselves. That's how we march across the globe.
Right.
China is much more intelligent about it. They basically use economics to essentially control the game. So now that they have control over basically all of the feedstocks for technology, and as you pointed out earlier, they also control all of the primary feedstocks for, let's say, healthcare. That what they've done is they've acquired the entire base of the pyramid for economic life, right? Globally.
Yeah.
And so there will be no war, right?
Right.
I mean, look, let me show you how silly this game is. I can never insult the people in the Pentagon enough. And I'm not talking about uniformed people, right? Because they're not the problem. It's the political appointees and the career climbers. But I can never, ever insult them enough. Let me just say this. Every single weapon system we're sending to Ukraine cannot be replaced without China deciding to sell us the materials to build a new one.
Yeah.
Say that again for those in the
getting
back.
all of Europe to disarm themselves for all of their advanced technology weapons, all going to Ukraine, right? On that pointless exercise. So who's in charge? See, we get back to Vic's point earlier. It seems intentional. Can you really be that stupid?
No, it's intentional.
What are the avenues that we have to talk to? It seems like, and I feel like I'm kind of wrong now, but it seems like you would go talk to a Josh Hawley, maybe somebody that wanted to get to the bottom of this. Is there anybody?
Senator Josh Hawley, U.S. Senator, by the way.
And maybe anybody that's in there that has a concern about this. Is there anybody that can open the door to this concern that's in the Senate or the House of Representatives or somewhere? Or is this just so deep state behind closed doors that this is never going to get fixed?
So I'll tell you this. We have some people who intend to help us this time around. These problems have cycles, and this is a cycle where the pain is so acute that nobody can ignore it. So I have to say that Congressman Jason Smith's office looks like they're poised to actually step up and really help push this thing over the line for us.
Congressman Jason Smith out of Missouri, for those who may not understand or know the name.
Yeah, Congressman Smith also, the rare earth iron ore mine is in his district. That probably helps a little bit. It would be great to have a meeting with Senator Hawley. I've never successfully had a meeting with him. I have to say, Senator Bond was an absolute champion for us. I have to say, Russ Carnahan was the very first person to write a letter on our behalf. So it happens, but access is always a problem. I'm not writing anybody $5,000 checks to have a meeting, so I'm always at the end of the line.
Let me ask you this. Have you tried, this is the dumbest question I think I've ever answered or asked, but does it make any sense to reach out to a Tucker Carlson or somebody that is on that side of the media? And does it even move the needle?
Well, Fox follows all of our stuff anyway.
Well,
Jim will be getting a call very soon from Fox.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it even moves the needle. I really am.
I think, well, look, yes, politicians respond to, this kind of pressure. I mean, they're the worst, 14-year-old emotionally charged girl in the world who's unhappy because nobody's giving them likes, right? I mean,
That's good.
Look, nothing against emotionally charged teenage girls, but
I've got one.
But they grow out of
it. If there's no social pressure and it isn't painful to them, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's exceptions, and we're working with some really good people. But the bottom line is, yeah, it does take somebody like a Tucker Carlson to induce enough pain that they have to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just quite happy getting their likes and their, friend me stuff. And I mean, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
This is, when you talk about national security issues at the basis of everything in our country's, survival.
Yeah.
If you can't defend yourself as a nation, you're done, right? So we have a conflict in the South China Sea, and we've sent almost every single weapon system we have to the Ukraine, fighting that pointless war.
Yeah.
And then we get in a conflict with China, and we run out of bullets on our side. Let me ask you, how do you think the negotiations go when we don't have bullets and they still do?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. Jim Kennedy, he is an expert around the world when it comes to rare earth metals. You just brought up Ukraine. We've sent all of our equipment to Ukraine, or a lot of it, I should rephrase. Our co-host left early, and she wanted me to ask you about that, and you're getting ready. I can tell you're ready to jump on that. She said, ask Jim, please, if we're really building a facility somewhere, she thought it might be in California. And what your true opinion of this new facility to try to turn things around, what that will entail, how that will work.
So this is a con job like the last con job. It's the same deposit run by a different group of venture capitalists.
Okay.
Who have their hand out in the Department of Defense, always impressed with people in shiny suits. All the money's flowing to them. They'll have the exact same outcome. I'm glad she asked the question. The Chinese government was the first to come in and fund them and get them going again. Then our Pentagon jumped in and provided them lots of funding. And what do they get for it? That company sends 100% of their rare earth products to China.
Oh, damn.
What?
Yeah.
This should be the lead story on every
news,
every outlet, not just cancel this.
But we're so stupid, Vic.
Well, of course
we're so dumb.
It's intentional.
It's like when you hear about China buying up farmland around military bases, this should not be a debate. It should be like, we have an announcement. Every single Chinese company that owns a land around an airbase, it officially stopped right now. Hey, all right, that was an easy one. That was a layup.
And guys, if you
but
listen,
we debate that garbage.
But if you listen to Jim too, Jim, this doesn't seem as if this is going with one specific party or the other as well.
That's a good point.
This seems like this is transpired through multiple changes of regimes.
It's what we call the shadow government.
You would have thought that you would have thought Trump would have just come in here and go, what the hell is going on here? And Trump would have had about 1 billion manufacturing facilities building this stuff almost overnight. But even Trump didn't do it. But even Trump didn't do it.
But he was calling it out. He couldn't deal with the deep state. The deep state was on to that.
Is that true?
I believe that's true.
Do you think that's true?
I do.
So I want to say this because I'm a very generous person. Rather than talk about the deep state, which, by the way, is absolutely real, I'll be very generous and I'll say that stupidity is bipartisan, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very generous. On Trump, we had a tremendous success with his administration. There were some really incredibly good people that tried to push this forward. But then again, Obama's administration, when we finally got in front of them, I had never seen anyone clear a table and make things work faster. They gave it a good shot. The real problem is we're back to the emotional teenage situation. These people are, it's an attention orgy, right? And whatever's getting the attention, that's what they're about. And that thing fills their day and their life, and they all kind of move like a herd in a pack.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's popular and whatever is getting them views, whatever is hurting the other side, that becomes important. And that basically takes all the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah.
So when I'd go into the White House Executive Office building and sit down with people, until recently, post-COVID, no one could really, dedicate much mental energy to this issue because there were much more important things going on, which were essentially just noise, right? 99% of politics is addressing noise, and there's less than 1% where somebody's getting that, actually doing the work. And, for a brief second in the Obama administration, we got everybody's attention and it looked very promising. And then in the Trump administration, we did much better. We had some very, very helpful people on the transition team. They moved us in there. We were front and center very early. And then, of course, we had a series of 4 years of, fake investigations that are still going on today. And, the administration couldn't do anything, right? I mean, it was impossible. They were just putting out fires all the time. I think they were responsible for half of them, but that's what they were doing.
If you had to put this all in a matrix and then spit it out, what is our timeline of no return?
No, he scared the crap out of me today.
No, I know. That's why I'm like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. What is your point of no return where I guess it would be an attack on the United States as far as the weaponry goes. But when is it like, okay, we're done, we're cooked?
So no, China's never going to attack us. They're way too smart. They're waiting for us to destroy ourselves. I mean, what do you think Antifa, BLM, all of this other stuff is about? Right? I mean, what is this transgender stuff about? None of it is about the health and mental welfare of our children. You know, why are we sending people drag queen days, right? What is this about? It is to tear the social fabric of this country apart.
But wait a minute, that's not China doing that. That's us doing it.
Well,
okay,
part
so
of it could be
let's
Chinese investment in this is happening.
Let's move China to the side for a second.
China was a massive supporter of BLM financially.
Okay, but General Milley shouldn't be. Why are we doing it to ourselves? And you know, China sits on the sideline going,
they're not.
Look at those clowns.
So listen, there are people who have deep bred ideologies that quite frankly hate this country at a visceral level.
Who hates
a lot
it?
of them are in office. A lot of them are mega donors. And all of these things that are transpiring are weaponized ideologies that were introduced into our university systems decades ago. And it's like a cancer. It's going to run its course. Nobody's running around with a scalpel and nobody's running around with chemotherapy treatment. So this stuff is running amok.
The moms are kind of chemo in the schools, at least. But
look.
I agree. I agree.
At the end of the day, people are losing their children forever. What happens when these kids go off and they make these decisions and the parents try to stop them? And then, of course, the culture tells them that proves your parents are bad people. They won't even accept this or that.
Wow.
So they just double down. So we're losing generations of people. And then, I got to get off this subject. I'm going to get in trouble with everybody except obviously your people. I can see the comments.
No, we're inquisitive. We're not even making statements at this point.
Right. My point is China doesn't have to ever go to war with us. We're at war with ourselves. Right. And all of these ideologies were introduced decades ago. And this insidious cancer is is eating away at us. We have political folks from both sides feeding the cancer. So China just sits back and waits. It already controls everything in the industrial base, right? So it just waits and lets us, pursue another dozen pointless forever wars, and we're spent. How do we fix it, right? We fix it one thing at a time. So we've promoted legislation. I've actually worked with members of Congress and introduced, essentially helped author bills to solve this problem before. We're working on another piece of legislation, 2 pieces of legislation we believe in this environment can get passed. If we can pass these bills, and we can fix one thing, just fix the rare earth thing. When we get the car into the shop and we put tires back on it and we rebuild the carburetor and we get the thing on the road, everybody standing on the road is going to stand there with envy and go, why don't we do that? We can do one thing at a time. And that first thing is to fix the rare earth problem. We're working with some other folks that are working on other critical material issues like battery metals. So we have a coalition of folks who are determined to solve these problems. We have members of Congress who we have their attention at this moment. We can get bills passed, and we can use this this horrible piece of legislation called the IRA to move some things forward. That's great, But we have to start, and we have to fix one thing. Blaming China is the worst waste of time ever. That's just a distraction.
Amen.
God, what a breath of fresh air you are at the same point in time. But Jim, I promise you, I'm going to push you out to, hey, we do a great job on cancelthisshow.com. We're only 4 months in, and we have thousands and thousands and thousands of viewers and listeners. However, there are some big people like Tucker Carlson, like Joe Rogan, who need to have you as well, because right now we don't have that audience yet. We will get there. We're not there yet. but I will push you out to them because this message needs to be heard.
I
Because
agree.
we're celebrating opening day today. We're a lot of baseball fans. We're happy and we have our entertainment. We have our beer, and it takes us away from realities. But these realities aren't going anywhere.
That's right.
When you broke down that chart of how much China controls of those rare minerals and what they make up with products. Hell, we had somebody, Jim, just a little bit ago on our chat line saying, I know this sounds funny, but I can't get my fat-free creamer anywhere, and China's holding it back as well.
That's true. That sounds funny.
Yes.
Is that true? Yeah.
It's COVID.
They blame everything. It's not COVID. COVID was the mask for getting all of this stuff done.
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Walmart is not fully
China,
stocked
too.
yet. That's for sure.
China doesn't give us anything good. They just give us COVID.
Hey, let me ask you this. And I could be completely off base, but was it Lockheed Martin that said they're not going to work on the ultrasonic missiles anymore? Or they were going to get rid of one of those programs? Did you hear?
Yeah, I don't remember the details, but I do remember introducing to the Defense Department the fact that China had, you want a scary list? I've got a list of China industrial military firsts that is shocking. They have the world's largest hypersonic testing facility. They have the most advanced deployed systems of quantum computing in the world. They have deployed space weapons systems already in place. They've been operating for almost a decade. The number of things that China is already running and operating ahead of us. The U.S. government spent 30 years funding the development of a railgun. I don't know if you know what a railgun is, but
what's a railgun?
Real cool stuff. A railgun is using super magnetic electric pulse to launch a projectile at 7 to 9 times the speed of sound.
Jeez.
That's like,
and the projectile has so much power that it's more powerful than any standard explosive. So this was a project the United States was developing and leading on, and the defense contractors milked it for 35, 40 years. And finally, they terminated the program when the Chinese thought it would be humorous to release a photo of one of their railguns already deployed on a ship. So this is the problem. The Chinese watch our system of waste and posturing and projected power. And while we're strutting around like that, they just get things done.
Yeah, so much for classified documents. It seems like we develop and then they finish it. Is it possible? And I was having a weird conversation with a friend of mine who is he was in the SEALs and now he's in the he's a general, not a general. He's a upper in the military, and you talk to him and you're like, man, and China has this and China has this, and he kind of gave me this look like, settle down. That's very cute. You don't even know half the stuff that we have. Is that true? Do you feel like we are hiding all of our tech that really does protect this country?
Well, here's a question too, though, that somebody wanted on the chat line. Are we a country or are we a corporation?
Well, yeah, that is a good question. But do you think that we have underground technologies that make China just kind of oblivious?
Oh, for sure. Right. Of course we do. But so do they. And you know what they have, which is way better than all the technology in the world?
What's that?
They have control of everything that feeds that. And they also have a growing respect in the world.
Yeah.
We like to say horrible things about the Chinese, but very, very slowly, the ratchet is turning the other way. And China now looks like the protector of free trade. China now looks like the country of stability and rationality. We're running around starting forever wars over. We're actually instigating, creating environments, false flag environments where we can go into wars. China's not doing any of this stuff. Go look. When's the last time China invaded another country? Right? We, in our 240-year history, I think Jimmy Carter said we had been at war like 213 of those years.
Yep.
Right. So very, very slowly, China is winning the upper hand in this game. By the way, so is Russia.
They are, and they're together now. And obviously, since you know and you speak at the United Nations and you understand geopolitical situations, considering the rare earth minerals, how long does it take before our dollar is done away with? We see what's happening with BRICS right now, led by China and Russia. I've talked about it so many times. It's just a matter of time before our dollar is disposed of, that we're forced into a digital currency led by the central bank. And then every purchase that we have is then monitored. And China, in my humble opinion, is at the heart of all of it when it comes to what you just said, Jim. And you're on the inside of all of this when it comes to the business that's taking place.
So let's go back to Eric's earlier question about the secret weapon. Okay. The secret weapon is the dollar, right? That's the most powerful thing in the world. And the sad reality is the number one, undermining entity of the dollar is our own government. Everything we do undermines the dollar. China isn't doing anything to undermine the dollar. In fact, because they had so much of our debt, they were kind of forced to help prop us up. But, from the George Bush II administration, let's go back, because all the way, it goes back to Clinton. Every one of them consecutively has had a hand in undermining and destroying the dollar. And the single worst of them all is the current administration's position in this Ukraine war and these endless sanctions and and the seizure of sovereign property, the seizure of assets of citizens unrelated. What we've demonstrated is that the dollar and the SWIFT banking system are so morally corrupt and untrustworthy that we're forcing Russia and China and Iran and Venezuela and
Saudi Arabia,
everybody else, and we're forcing them together. We're forcing them to build an alternate currency system. And so look, who's secret weapon? The secret weapon is American ignorance, arrogance, and I don't know what's another derogatory term. Throw all of them in there.
But it's all interlaced. I don't know if you've ever been to St. Louis, Missouri. It's a beautiful city, or it used to be a beautiful city. And you can't get any kind of a conversation that says you used to be awesome, you used to be safe, you used to be economic. You are the crossroads of America. And now this is a dilapidated mess over here. Is it just that we are in this era when we're just breaking the entire system down on purpose? That's the ultimate question, but there's nothing quantifiable about it. It's like this bizarre, I can't feel it, tactical kind of thing. And I don't even know.
Quantifiable.
It's quantifiable in the output. It's not quantifiable in the malicious intent. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I can't figure out why governors and mayors and our leadership in the Pentagon and at the UN don't go, you're damn right, we're on this. I always keep thinking in the back of my mind, Vic, in the old newsreels in the 40s when World War II started, there was that song, we're shoving right out again. It was the battleships going out to sea. It was like, damn, America kicks ass. I don't feel that right now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If the national media is what they are, we already know you're not going to get that sentiment.
But that's
Eric, obviously you haven't been paying attention. We've put all the energy of all those Liberty ships and all of that incredible stuff into the most pressing issue of our time, trans what the fuck. Oh,
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, that's a good point.
Absolutely right.
But is that the messiness that they're throwing in there to get us? Is that the messiness?
Oh, absolutely.
Is
it's it's the Marxist theory. It's absolutely
by throwing transsexual stuff in the middle.
It is whatever, right? It'll be a new flavor next month. But what it is they found other ways to divide the populace against itself. It used to be the Republicans and Democrats, corporatists and union labor, and the Democrats abandoned unions decades ago. So they need new fodder. So what do? They just create categories, endless categories of imagined, some of it's real, but it's mostly imagined oppression, right? Everybody's oppressed. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody gets treated horribly once in a while or all the time. But they essentially just make categories so that you can fit in. And what they do is they create little drone soldiers, right?
Yeah.
You get a 13-year-old
Well
girl
said.
to believe that she should have been a man, and she goes in and gets some kind of surgery and or chemical treatments. She's indelibly changed her physiology, and you think there's any going back? No, they own her forever. Is she
Yeah.
going to admit she was wrong? No, she'll be a lifelong soldier to some ridiculous cause.
Yeah.
She's just a pointed object. They can point at anybody. And they're just taking our youth and they're using them as weapons against us.
Brutal.
Right?
So-
Right? You're
and
what,
China, Eric,
one more term as a congressman? It's repugnant. It's
It is.
extreme.
No, I know that. So with your access to these committees and these higher ups, you have got to have some kind of a bird dog view of what do they say when you come at them with all of this stuff? Do they ever say, "Hey, keep your voice down about this trans stuff"? But does something else?
I never talk about that. Obviously,
Trans
I'm sitting here thinking to myself,
minerals.
shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't
Hold
have
on.
said that. Well, silence.
Hold on.
Silence on issues it makes you just a party to the cause.
But if you're in a committee talking about these rare earth minerals, and you know that there's something, if you know that the disease is the cancer, but you're fixing the little bump that's the lesion on your skin, don't you eventually have to say, we have to really address all this other stuff over here that we can't even get to the root of the problem?
You mean why aren't politicians focusing on the rare minerals instead of transgender?
Exactly. If there's an impedance to the problem, aren't you allowed to talk about your theory and what's going on?
So look, I've had conversations in the Pentagon where at the end of the day, I kept pressing the issue. And the person I was talking to, who was the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Industrial Policy, literally said to me, "We know that. It's too late. There's nothing we can do."
What? What does that mean?
Now, what I was thinking and screaming in my brain and say out loud is, well, if you think it's over and we've lost, why the F are you still putting men and women in uniform and sending them to some foreign field to get slaughtered? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, these people, the Pentagon is nothing but a weapons bazaar, right? Selling weapons worldwide. And all of these civilians working in it and some of these tainted uniform people, all they're doing is career padding and looking for, a payday, the revolving door. It is so grotesque. Like you said, everybody's looking at the Legion, but the Legion is selling F-16s to Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and then another example, even more grotesque, a certain senator from a certain state I happen to be sitting in, who's not senator anymore. We spent Senator Bond asked this person to make sure that what we were working on got done. And this certain person literally never once had a face-to-face meeting with us. He gave us a flunky staff member. He had some good staff members, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up with a military liaison who wouldn't show up to his own meetings, which sent the message to, we had a meeting with the entire bipartisan Senate Armed Services Committee. We had staffers from the leading, the most senior Republicans who weren't even on that committee show up at that meeting. And this senator's military liaison staffer refused to go to the meeting. What does that mean? That means that the senator's office had to send some constituent with some stupid ass message, please don't pay attention. We're not really backing this. Come to find out, what they were working on the whole time, their number one issue in that office was giving a medal to some woman who wrote a movie based on a script written by the CIA to pretend that somehow, they caught bin Laden through torturing people. I mean, this is the bullshit.
No, and
This
you
is
dealt
where
with it.
all the energy is spent.
Jim, what's your biggest concern, most pressing? I mean, you've brought up about 20. What should people be most concerned about today as they exit this conversation?
So the most important thing for people to realize is they literally have to quit bickering and fighting. They literally have to quit. They have to realize we're not two tribes at war. They have to realize the enemy is the political class. They have to realize that their party is not their friend and is not looking out for them, and that's Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
They need to quit this. We are so broken as a country that people basically live lives without dignity, right? Because it's been stripped away. No one has job security. No one has these young people aren't facing a nice future. So in place of dignity, they all become weapons of somebody else. And so somebody wants to build something, and some broken group of people come out and they fight it just to fight it, and they defeat projects. So there's a cobalt mine that's been trying to open in the Northeast for about 30 years. And every time they get their permit, somebody makes a lawsuit and they stop them. So let me tell you how this works. They're trying to open a cobalt mine so that we can build, green technologies. And all these people from California, New York drive up in their Teslas and they get out with their signs and they protest it because they already have their Tesla.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this NIMBY, people have to realize you have to rebuild America, right? We're all not going to work for some digital company because digital companies don't want employees. That means we have to make real stuff. You want to make real stuff, you have to quit fighting everything. You have to realize that the people that are cheering you on are assassins of America's future. Just grow up, think about the way the world is supposed to work, how things get to where they are, and start supporting projects. Start supporting people. Quit supporting political parties.
Do you have children, Jim?
Yeah, it's very scary. I have two wonderful girls, and they're growing up in a world where, nothing's assured. Nothing's ever assured, but it's a roulette table, and the odds aren't good.
Yeah, we live in a country where these two huge moats right on the side of our coastlines. We should be able. Not only should we be able to defend this country with the best weaponry that's ever been created, but also with the best marketing message ever created. Like Ronald Reagan said, this is the land of. If this goes down, you're screwed.
Absolutely, you're right.
If this goes down, you're screwed. And I think that our marketing message of freedom and how the founding fathers put this together is going the way of the dodo bird. And I just can't figure it out. I don't understand.
All the founding fathers were racist. All the founding fathers were this. Everything's broken.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a disease. It's a cancer that is spread throughout the entire body.
Yeah.
And these ideologies they're teaching these kids, they're brain cancer. It's just disgusting. And then what you just say offends them, because how can you be so insensitive? When, the fact is, in human history, every single race at one time, you shouldn't even use that word, every single person, every single, whatever we are, we've all been slaves. Everybody's been slaves. Slavery was the most common form of economics that the planet knew. Yeah. In fact, the only reason we don't have slaves today is because we learned how to harvest energy, right? Yeah. Energy replaced slaves. Mm-hmm. My daughter, who goes to Tulane, her professor teaching a course on environmental science gave her a reviewed paper. Reviewed paper. What does that even mean today?
Exactly.
And the paper's point was that modern energy resources are the great racial slavery tool of the 20th and 21st century. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's the only reason slaves don't still exist.
Yeah.
Right? Slaves don't exist because, and white or black, right? I mean, slavery had no color.
Yeah.
But the reason it doesn't exist is because we learned how to harvest energy. Now, of course, we're trying to throw the energy that works out and replace it with energy that works when it's sunny.
Yeah. What can you tell me about?
That's a whole nother topic.
Was there anything to Hillary Clinton in the uranium mine? What was that all about? That seems like a rare earth mineral that we probably needed. The scuttlebutt was that she was selling it to Russia or something like that. Do you know anything about that story? Yeah.
I know a lot about it. I'll say little. Let's just say this.
Thank you.
There was an investigation into improper relationships with the Russians, right? And I think they got the wrong target. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Fair enough. That is interesting. Jim, as we close up with you today, and you told us what you were concerned about with leaving a point, and of course, understanding that a lot of times we may associate with parties and think that, oh yeah, they got our back, and they don't have our back. What gives you hope when it comes to the rare minerals? You've talked lightly about we're trying, but what gives you hope that our country may realize the importance or may have an end when you talk about there are some, quote, people trying to help us?
So there are some very dedicated people on the national security side. U.S. industry is spineless and pathetic and is already moving. They've already moved to China. The General Motors most advanced research facility, one of the most advanced research facilities in the world, is now in China. They're all over there. I hate to say it, but really kind of one of the things that's really helping us is this net zero thing. People believe in it so much, that they're panicking because they realize that it's impossible to build this field of dreams without these materials. So that's been very, very helpful to us. Another thing that's helpful to us is some of our economic allies are much more rooted in reality and are showing a very serious interest in this.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if our leading investors are not, I can assure you our leading investors will not be U.S. investors. They won't. They don't care.
And you haven't even figured in how AI plays into all of this, and we haven't figured out how. So let's say you're the president, and I would vote for you. If you're the president, how long? If you're like, we're shifting gears, we're going to fix this. What is the timeline when we could actually get back to where we're not so dependent on China?
Dude, never.
No, why do you say never? Don't be so negative. Let him answer.
You could gear up for all of this stuff. For our plan for development, it take about 3 years, best case, to start rolling material out.
Okay.
And that could be true in lots of commodities. You'd also need to see the industrial base, the automakers, the technology makers, all also firmly committed to reshoring. And there is a pretty good push to reshore. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea for our government to create tax incentives and other benefits for U.S. companies moving everything to China and Mexico. But this IRA bill, one of the upsides is there is some really, really lucrative opportunities in reshoring. And I can tell you that a number of European and Asian countries are looking at reshoring into the U.S., major build outs into technology and manufacturing because of this IRA. So
I research that.
It's true. I mean, if you pay attention, the Europeans are very angry with us because this particular bill is incredibly lucrative for industrial players to come back to the United States.
Yeah.
So the president has no idea what's going on with this, right? Please tell me he can't touch this or give it to the wrong person, Jim.
Look, there's so much money. It's a swill of money, and some of it's written pretty well. Some of it's written quite horribly, but on balance, I think there can be some real good coming out of this. And I think, if we can get some communities to come back to life, like you said about St. Louis, if St. Louis, could get its manufacturing's heart and soul back in the game, and people, had dignity going to a job, making something they knew was a, quality product, working for a good company. I think it would be great for St. Louis and, Youngstown, Ohio, and everybody else.
Yeah.
Leading a life of, this, what do they call it? The gig economy. How many commercials do you have to see, people in their 30s, clearly in their 30s going, I saw this great idea. I'm going to work for Grubhub or whatever else. I mean, it's like, what the hell, right? 30 years old, you should be
the
on
only
with
industry they have. It's the only industry.
I know. So when you see angry people and when you see people buying into these insanities, this trans stuff and these, Antifa, why are they buying into it? Because we've stripped them of all human dignity and they just want to belong to something, right?
Very good
Right?
point.
So until we replace those horrible things with something good, we're going to keep losing our kids.
Yep.
Yes.
Jim, I appreciate it.
Jim.
Jim, you've been amazing. We could do more with you. Would you come back on with us?
Sure, but I thought we were going to talk about rare earths today.
Yeah, I know.
I just think you need to write a book, and you can have rare earths in the middle of the book.
Well, Jim,
but there's so much stuff to the sides that has to be covered.
Jim, we got into it, and you're a fantastic speaker, and you're a wealth of knowledge, experience, and information. Can we do this again next week and promote you again?
I'm going to be. Let me look at my schedule. I may be out of pocket most of next week, but I could probably find an opening.
Or we'll talk, and we'll get you back on as soon as we can, because this is something. Obviously, you've been a super hit. And of course, we'll promote the heck out of it and get you back on.
There's no cell service in the skiff in the Congress, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's right. I've been in that room a couple times.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to you again today. We appreciate it so much, Jim. Thank you for joining us today and educating us and enlightening us and scaring us and every other kind of emotion that's going on here. So
we're problem solvers. That's what this show is. We're going to fix this.
Okay. We're going to fix St. Louis and America, aren't we? Aren't we, boys?
Yeah.
We are. We are. Say yes. Say yes.
Go Cards.
Come on.
That's so negative, Vic.
Of course we are.
I'm going to go hang out with Jim some more. Jim, I'm going to find you. We're going to hang out today. All right.
Very good.
All right.
Cool, man. See, if you would have been more positive when you were playing at Mizzou, maybe you guys would have won some damn games.
Positive. You guys, come on. It's the home opener.
Yeah.
Be light and happy. Come on.
Once again, you can look Jim up. He is absolutely amazing. Jim Kennedy, internationally recognized expert on the economy, national security, geopolitical ramifications of China's rare earth monopoly and the thorium nuclear energy systems. The guy is a genius, very experienced. Some people even thought he's the best guest we've had so far.
I agree. I'm in.
Wonderful.
I'm in.
Enjoyed it.
And Peter George, who is also a listener, thank you for introducing us. And like we say, it's you, our viewers, our listeners. You give us a lot. You send us in the right direction, and we do what we can to put the information out there. So anyway,
I mean, he got us closest to the pin
did.
Far as figuring out the questions that we've had answers to now on the show for 3 years.
Yes.
I feel closer now than I ever have.
What? Save the tape.
Good. Go ahead.
Save the tape.
It's fine. I'm serious. He basically.
That upsets me more than it makes me happy, Eric.
Why?
Because he explained that it's basically what I got out of it. Yeah. It's intentional.
Well,
it is intentional.
Here's the deal. He was talking about, he was like, he wasn't looking at a spreadsheet going, guys, I got some information. We have no rare earth minerals, and I have no idea why. He didn't do that. He literally was able to back time.
That's true.
The problems and go, holy crap. And he was able to see maybe a little bit in the future of, okay, we could come out of it. So I feel we've asked some of the right questions over the last 3 years, and we finally got some answers today.
Yeah, we did. And we appreciate you joining us. And tomorrow, by the way, it's our big entire artificial intelligence. We're going to break it all down tomorrow. Got some surprises. We'll get into all kinds of things, everything artificial intelligence. If you guys have information, if you know of things, that is tomorrow.
Yeah, that's free for all
That's
Friday.
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Oh, be ready. Be ready.
We're expecting stuff from you.
Yes.
I tell you what, I was using AI GPT X4 or whatever it is.
Before many of us.
The new one, not the old one that's like the little baby one compared to, and it got mad at me last night.
Oh my God. Save it for tomorrow. That's a great tease.
It got mad. I wish I would have saved the screenshot.
That's
I
all
asked it some things. He goes,
tomorrow.
I'm having enough of
on
this
Cancel
conversation
This.
or something.
Eric has a fight with
tomorrow. I love it.
Guys, we love you.
it.
Thanks for joining us for cancelthisshow.com. Remember, continue to support our show. Promote it wherever you possibly can. Donations are asked for. We love it. If there's advertisers that want to get involved with us, the current ones we have are loving it. We appreciate it. Check it out on our website, cancelthisshow.com. For Scotty Gherkin, Lizzie Sparks, Eric Johnson, Tab the Hassle, I'm Vic Faust. Great guest. Now we need a great game. If you're a Cardinals fan, go Cardinals!
Go Cardinals!
At least many of us are, and whatever team you may be supporting, as long as they're not playing the Cardinals. Have an awesome day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for cancelthisshow.com.